So today I'm going to teach you how to make chickpea salad. This is basically a vegan substitute or a vegetarian substitute for tuna salad. So it's diverse like that, where you can eat it on crackers, eat it on bread, you can eat it as a snack by itself. So a really versatile snack or meal, and it's awesome. So we're going to start with 2 cans of garbanzo beans. Organic is always best, and you can do your own fresh if you want, but it takes a lot of time, so I'm going to use canned today. So 2 cans, I've already drained them in the sink, so they've been drained, and then I'm going to smash them. I'm just going to use a potato smasher. You want them to have texture, so while you're mashing them up, you don't need it to be 100% mashed. You want kind of that, texture between parts that are mashed and then parts that are a little bit more bean. And however you like it. If you like it a little bit more mashed, that's fine. If you like it a little bit less, that's fine too. Just so that you know, garbanzo beans and chickpeas are the same thing. This seems to be a common misunderstanding. So if you're looking in the store and you don't know what you're looking for and the can says chickpeas, it's the same thing. Generally, garbanzo beans is when they're in this form and chickpeas is when they're dried, like a chickpea snack. But you may see cans that say, organic chickpeas. Same thing. All right. And once that's pretty mashed up, and once it's mashed, you're gonna see there's like little skins. And then I've also got like part beans and then whole beans. I don't know if you can really see that, but if you're like, what is this little stuff coming off? This is just the skin. You want that. You're gonna eat that. So now that my chickpeas are mashed up the way that I like them, I'm going to just set the bowl aside and we're going to chop some celery. So whenever you're doing, mine's already cleaned, washed. So whenever you're doing this, think of like what you might want to add to a tuna salad, because you have a lot of options here. You can mix different stuff. You can make it less calories by changing out some of the ingredients. So it's really whatever you want, but we have to take that chickpea salad and add some stuff to it, make it less dry, and we want to add some nutrients to it as well. The protein is going to come from the chickpeas, but we want some extra stuff in there. So I'm going to do about a cup of diced celery. So once you've chopped up your celery, and you can make this as thick or, as diced up as you want, that's really your preference. The bigger pieces, the more crunch you're gonna have. So I like mine about a medium. And you want about a cup. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. And I like to add a little bit more. And we're gonna mix that up. So I've mixed my chickpeas and my celery, and I have some awesome texture. So like I said, I've got some whole beans in there, lots of skins, mashed up chickpeas, and then my celery, I've got some that's really fine and some bigger chunks, but I like that crunch. So if you don't like that texture, mash everything a little bit more and chop your celery a little bit finer. And if you like the crunch and that texture like I do, you're gonna do it kind of like this, where there's that combination. And next we're gonna add some pickles. And you can add any kind of pickles that you want. So you can do spicy pickles, you can do bread and butter pickles, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. And if you don't have that and you have like a relish, you could do that as well. Just understand that that's gonna be whatever flavor you're adding to it. So are you going with a sweet? Are you going with a spicy? Are you going with kind of that buttery flavor? Doesn't make any difference, but it is going to change the flavor of your salad. So I'm going to do a spicy pickle today. And because I'm doing them and they're rounds, I'm going to have to chop those up too. And I want to do about a half a cup of pickles all chopped up, or a half a cup of relish if you're going to do that instead. So like I said, we're going to do about a half a cup of pickles. So there's my half cup all diced up. And I dice my pickles a little bit finer than I do the rest of it, because I want that flavor to really mix in, and I'm not looking for the crunch of the pickle personally. I rather get that crunch and that texture from my beans and from my celery, but it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you'd like. So this is already going to be delicious, but it's going to be a little too dry and there's not a whole lot binding it together. So if you try to eat this on crackers or on a piece of toast or even on its own. You kind of have to use a spoon because it's pretty dry and crumbly at this state. So we're going to make it a little bit smoother of a dish. And so we're gonna add mayonnaise, and I'm gonna do a vegan mayo, which you can just buy at the grocery store. You can use regular mayonnaise. And if you're watching calories, you can do a lot of other things. You could do like a sriracha, make it really spicy. You could do a half and half, like a little mayo and a little sriracha, to help cut those calories. Again, it's gonna change the flavor, but it would be really good. You're just gonna end up with a spicy salad instead of what ours is gonna be, which is a little less spicy. So I'm gonna do 1/4 cup. And that would be 1/4 cup regardless of what you're gonna use. You don't wanna overdo that, number one, because of calories, but you also don't want it to be too liquidy. You don't want it to be, overly creamy. So 1/4 cup, I don't measure a lot, but I do measure usually my mayonnaise because I wanna be really cautious of those calories and I don't wanna overdo it. And I'm just gonna mix that in. And that's gonna give me the consistency. So you can always add more or less depending on the consistency that you want, but you really got to be careful with this ingredient because that is where you're going to get some of those calories that are not as good as your celery and beans and pickles. Looks so good. So now we're just going to season it a little bit. And this is where you have other options depending on what you like. I'm not doing a spicy and I'm not doing a dill flavor since I chose spicy pickles. But if I was doing like a bread and butter pickle or a dill pickle, I might want to add extra dill, add that extra flavor. Again, if I was doing spicy, maybe I'll add a little extra garlic, extra pepper. In my case, for what I'm doing, I'm gonna add some lemon juice. I wish I had a real lemon today, but I don't, and I don't wanna not make the salad, so I have 100% lemon juice. We're gonna do like a tablespoon and a teaspoon-ish, a little over a tablespoon. Not great at measuring. We're gonna add some salt. You'll want that probably regardless of your recipe that you wanna use. And I'd say half a teaspoon. Pepper to taste, I don't know, half, 1/4 teaspoon. Some garlic, same, maybe like a half a teaspoon. Add whatever you want. You want it spicier, add more pepper, add more garlic. And this is gonna be perfect. Literally, you can eat this just like this as a snack, eat it in a bowl. The girlfriend who gave me the original recipe that I built this off of likes to eat it on cucumber slices, so she just slices the cucumber, put it right on there instead of a cracker. That's an awesome way to get an extra veggie and not get more calories. Or you can toast an open piece of bread and do a sandwich. This is gonna be so good. And that's what it's gonna look like. Very similar to a tuna salad, except it's 100% vegan, super healthy, high in protein, and it's an awesome snack.